Welcome to Fun Facts Daily, your source for just the good stuff. Monday through Friday, we're bringing fun facts and news you can use, all carefully curated to uplift and inform. So give yourself a break, relax, and learn something awesome in just a few minutes every day. Hi everyone, I'm Kyle Wood, and today we'll be learning about the icy, mysterious continent of Antarctica. But before we get into the facts, let's warm up our brains with a little challenge to see if you can tell truth from fiction. Consider this. Despite being covered in an estimated 7 million cubic miles of ice, Antarctica is actually the largest desert in the world. What do you think? Is this an actual fact or too good to be true? We'll find out at the end of the episode. Now for your word of the day. Our word for today is katabatic, spelled K-A-T-A-B-A-T-I-C. Katabatic winds are a fascinating and powerful weather phenomenon, and Antarctica is home to the most extreme examples on Earth. A katabatic wind is a wind that carries high-density air from a higher elevation down a slope under the force of gravity. On the vast, high-altitude ice sheets of Antarctica, the air becomes very cold and therefore very dense. Gravity then pulls this heavy, cold air downhill toward the coast, creating incredibly strong and persistent winds. The word katabatic comes from the Greek word katabatikos, which means going downhill. This is formed from kata, meaning down, and bainin, meaning to go. These winds are not just gentle breezes. In Antarctica, they can regularly reach hurricane force speeds, sometimes exceeding 150 miles per hour. They play a crucial role in shaping the continent's climate and even influencing global ocean currents by creating ice-free areas on the sea surface called polynyas. Time for your daily high five. Number 1. Antarctica was the last continent to be discovered by humans. While ancient Greek philosophers theorized about a southern landmass they called Anti-Arctos to balance the northern Arctic, it remained a complete mystery for centuries. It wasn't until 1820 that the continent was officially sighted for the first time. The discovery is credited to a Russian expedition led by Fabian Gottlieb von Bellinghausen and Mikhail Lazarev, who circumnavigated the continent and spotted an ice shelf on January 27, 1820, confirming its existence. This late discovery meant that for most of human history, a landmass larger than the United States and Mexico combined was completely unknown to civilization. Explorers faced unimaginable challenges, including treacherous seas, massive icebergs, and extreme cold, which kept the continent hidden for so long. It took another 91 years after its discovery for a human, the Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen, to finally reach the South Pole in 1911, marking a major milestone in the age of Antarctic exploration. Number 2. There are no native reptiles, amphibians, or land mammals in Antarctica. Every other continent has unique land animals like kangaroos in Australia or lions in Africa. Antarctica, though, is a world apart. Its extreme cold, vast ice sheets and limited plant life make it impossible for reptiles, amphibians, or land-dwelling mammals to survive there naturally. The only mammals are marine mammals like seals and whales that live in the surrounding Southern Ocean and come ashore to breed. The most famous resident, the penguin, is a bird perfectly adapted to the frigid conditions. The largest true land animal native to the continent is a tiny insect, a wingless midge called Belgica antarctica, which measures less than half an inch long. This little creature spends most of its 2-year life cycle frozen in ice, just showing the incredible adaptations needed to survive in the world's harshest environment. Number 3. Antarctica is governed by over 50 nations through a unique international agreement. Antarctica is the only continent on Earth without a native human population and without a country. Instead of being owned by a single nation, it's managed collectively through the Antarctica Treaty System. The original treaty was signed in 1959 by the 12 countries that had been active in scientific research there during the 1957-58 International Geophysical Year. This agreement came into force in 1961 and has since been signed by more nations. It's an amazing example of international cooperation. It designates the entire continent as a natural reserve devoted to peace and science. Military activity is banned, as are mineral and oil exploration. The focus is on scientific investigation and protecting the continent's pristine environment for all of humanity. This peaceful agreement has held for over 60 years, ensuring that Antarctica remains a place of discovery, not conflict. Number 4. Antarctica holds about 90% of the world's ice and 70% of its fresh water. It is really hard to just wrap your head around the size of Antarctica's ice. The Antarctic ice sheet covers about 98% of the continent, and on average, it's over a mile thick. In some places, the ice is almost 3 miles deep. This colossal frozen reservoir contains about 7 million cubic miles of ice, which is about 90% of all the ice on our planet. If all of this ice were to melt, scientists estimate the global sea levels would rise about 200 feet or 60 meters. That would be enough to submerge many coastal cities around the world, from New York to Shanghai. This is why scientists so closely monitor the health of the Antarctic ice sheet. It's not just a vast icy wasteland, it's a critical component of the Earth's climate system and a massive storehouse of the world's fresh water. And our fifth and final fun fact for today, there's a sort of waterfall in Antarctica that runs red, earning it the name Blood Falls. In the seemingly endless bluish-white landscape of the McMurdo Dry Valleys, there's a shocking splash of color. A 5-story tall plume of salt water flows out from the tongue of the Taylor Glacier, staining the ice below a deep, rusty red. For years, scientists were puzzled by this phenomenon, which they named Blood Falls. Early theories suggested red algae was the cause, but they later found something else more interesting. The real cause is a hidden saltwater lake trapped beneath the glacier for nearly 2 million years. This subglacial lake is incredibly rich in iron. Because it has been cut off from the atmosphere, it has no oxygen, but as the water seeps through a fissure in the glacier and hits the air, the iron rapidly oxidizes, essentially rusting. This process creates a vivid red color, giving the illusion of a bleeding glacier and revealing a unique microbial ecosystem that survives without light or oxygen. Now for some news you can use. While most of us won't be visiting Antarctica anytime soon, we can help protect this pristine environment from our own homes. One of the most impactful things you can do is reduce your carbon footprint. Antarctica's ice sheets are incredibly sensitive to rising global temperatures. By making simple changes like using less energy at home, walking or biking instead of driving, and reducing waste, you decrease the amount of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere. This works because greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide trap heat in the atmosphere, leading to gradual warming of the planet. This warming is most pronounced at the poles, causing the ice to melt at an accelerated rate. By cutting back on our own emissions, we contribute to a collective global effort to slow this warming trend. It helps preserve the Antarctic ice, protecting its unique ecosystems and preventing the drastic sea level rise that would affect communities worldwide. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. At the beginning of the show, I asked if it's true that Antarctica, despite all its ice, is actually the world's largest desert. If you thought that sounded too wild to be true, you'd be surprised. It is an absolute fact. A desert is technically defined not by its temperature, but its amount of precipitation. A desert is a region that receives very little annual rainfall or snowfall. Antarctica's interior receives an average of less than 2 inches of precipitation per year, which is less than the Sahara Desert. The air is so cold and dry that it simply can't hold much moisture, so even though it's covered in ice and ice has accumulated over millions of years, it's the world's largest and driest cold desert. Now, I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about Antarctica with me. Be sure to tune in every weekday for even more fun facts. Fun Facts Daily is an Airwave Media podcast. It was written, recorded, mixed, and edited by me, Kyle Wood. Thanks for sharing a part of your day with me. Be sure to follow Fun Facts Daily on your favorite podcast app so you can keep the good stuff coming your way every day. And if you like the show, please do me a favor and leave a kind rating, review, or just tell your friends about it.